All right, I'll give you the injury update. You guys probably already heard it, but just for clarity purposes. So out will be Dane Jackson and Taylor Rapp, and then Taron Johnson cleared concussion protocol, and everyone else will practice in some capacity.
Taron, obviously, when a guy's been a part of your defense for as long as he has, you know, and produced the way that he has, it kind of becomes like old hat, like this expectation. Can you take us into a little bit like how you've seen him not only grow, but his responsibility within your defense?
Yeah, I think, you know, just the nickel position overall around the league has gained in popularity, in value, and I think Taron has been a big part of that, really, with how he has played and how we use him. So he's had not just this year, but he's had, to me, very solid seasons the last couple of years, and to watch him grow in his career, watch him grow with his family, has been one of the joys of coaching.
How important has he been to Terrell?
Well, I think the continuity of having, you know, Micah, Jordan, and Taron certainly helps together. So it's really a combination of those three in helping TB and his growth and his development and his confidence, especially early on in the season.
No Dallas got it for the Eagles. Did you see their offense change in terms of prioritizing Smith and Brown more on Monday night?
A little bit. You know, I think more just the 10 personnel and the fast personnel groupings, probably more than anything.
Do they run the same stuff, those two receivers, or do they have their own little style?
Who's that?
Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
And A.J. I mean, they, in terms of separate question you're saying now?
Yeah, where they line up, what kind of routes they run?
I mean, they're both really good players. I'll start there. Their play styles is definitely different, one from the other. Definitely both very, very talented and explosive.
What have you seen from Dorian that gave you the confidence, I think, the Denver game, to put him out there, spy a little bit after, you know, kind of taking a step back weeks earlier when he was kind of trading off the Tyrell pass? Yeah,
I mean, he's a young player, and he's got a great mindset. He embraces any and every role that we've thrown at him this year, and so Milano, if you remember, used to do that a little bit at times, and so obviously Matt's not available, and so you look for a player that fits that mold a little bit, and Dorian does.
How did Taylor come through practice yesterday? I know he was limited. Was there any sort of setback there, or is he just not?
No, just still feeling it, and so just based on where we think it's headed, we're just going to rule him out for the game at this point. So.
John, what's Justin Shorter been up to, and how's he been looking?
I mean, he's still going through the IR process there, Tim, and you know, we evaluate every day, every week, as to where he's at in terms of coming back.
How can you evaluate that? I mean, I'm sure there's things that you can do, even like how he handles his day-to-day business or whatever, but when a guy's on injured reserve, is there, I don't know, if there's any insight you can give just in general on how you can evaluate somebody that you really don't have a book on, you don't really know, you got to go back to college really to see?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I get a chance to be around him from time to time, not as much as I'm around the rest of the team naturally there, but he looks like to this point he's working hard every day. He's on a certain set schedule with the different trainers that he works with, the strength coaches he works with, and so I can tell you that he's working hard on improving himself. Where that is relative to being able to come back and help us and play varsity level football, I think that's for another time.
Sean, what's the outlook on Dawson once you get back from the bye?
I would say hopeful, but not certain at this point. So that's just based on this week's update that I get from the trainers.
For that week or for the entire season?
No, for that week.
Okay.
Yeah, hopeful, but I can't guarantee it until we know more at this point.
But you are expecting him back at some point this year?
Yes.
Okay.
You had said last week something about Damian Harris maybe not ready to exercise the idea or something like that of returning. How much of his return and battle back is the mental side, as well as certainly the scary physical side of what he went through.
Right, it's obviously a tough situation. Anytime you have happened what happened to Damian, and so really at this point it's both. It's the physical side from what the information I'm getting, and then there's obviously, I'm sure, when you go through something like that, it's not easy to come back from. So we just continue to take it one day at a time and try and support Damon any way we can.
Can you quantify the value of Micah and Jordan at a time when you have gone through so much fluctuation with the other positions in your defensive backfield? I know that we talked about what missing Micah last year meant, but I guess things change year to year. How has their presence impacted things?
They've been their leadership has been for 7 years since they arrived here, and their leadership has grown over those 7 years, Tim, and then also just their influence on our football team holistically has grown, and they're so steady. They're so tight, the two of them, and then but they do a great job of keeping it about the team, the big picture wise, and I so appreciate that.
In terms of confidence, like when you got guys who are maybe coming up or moving around, in terms of just the calmness of you can give your messaging and coach them up during the week, but when it comes time for kickoff and the nerves and everything, what do they do for those younger guys or the guys who are interchangeable?
Yeah, I think that definitely the confidence piece is real. Collectively, the two of them, but then also they both their influence and how they influence our team is different one from the other. Their personalities are a little bit different. Micah's personality is a little bit different than Jordan's personality, and I think that's also what makes them good. It's a little bit of a yin and yang going on there.
Sorry if you've been asked this, but with Micah, the stinger that he's dealing with, is that in any way related to what he went through last year, or to your knowledge, is it completely separate?
I feel like in my mind they're related, but from a medical standpoint, I can't say that it's specific, the same exact thing, but it's overall I think it's generally related in some form, and so that's the best I can tell you right now.
In general, is there ever a difference, like going into the bye week in terms of Moon coming off a win or a loss? And for this team specifically this year, with the ups and downs you guys have had, the injuries, just how big could it be for this team to go into the bye week coming off a win against a good team and sitting at 7-5 on the season?
Yeah, I mean we're focused on this game. To that point, that's really solely where our focus is, and the rest of it will handle itself in due time. It's really focusing on, like we always do, 1 week at a time, and right now the opportunity that we have against the Eagles this weekend.
Spencer Brown is someone you guys staunchly stood in support of in the offseason. How have you seen him grow in his third year?
Yeah, I was thinking about Spencer the other day, and his development. I think you got to credit Spencer himself, number one, and then Coach Cromer and Coach Gunn, number two, and the resources that we have in developing a player. He's been rather consistent, I would say, and that has grown through the course of this season. His health was, at times, his availability, I would say, was at times inconsistent early on, and that has also become more consistent. Credit to him and our training staff as well. So, there's fertile soil and fertile ground for us to develop players here, and you guys have seen it. I think this is a one great example of us doing that. And again, I think it's got to start with the player. You've got to be open to being coachable and making the adjustments that you have to make, and he's done that.